Okay, I'm crazy late, but this movie was even crazier, so I gotta talk about it. Spoilers, of course. Sorry for being gone so long. I'll talk about that a bit at the end of the video, but yo, Across the Spider-Verse was so good. The reason this review is so late is because I saw the movie super late, but I still want to talk about it because it's so good. First off, the art styles and animation were amazing. Like for Gwen's universe, it literally looked like a painting that's still being painted as you watch the movie. And I liked how we started the movie from her perspective so that we could see some of her situation. And so her motivations were clear throughout the rest of the movie, which was good to see. A lot of people were upset with her, and I get it. But at the end of the film, we see that she's had a clear character arc and a change in mindset. Like even though it ended on a cliffhanger, her development for who she wants to be felt very complete. Speaking of the cliffhanger, it was awesome. The whole reveal of Miles being the Prowler was sick, but since it took so long for me to see the movie, that got spoiled for me, and the way it was spoiled was with a Teen Titans meme.
Who are you?
But it's whatever. I'll get over it. That was my canon event. That's what I had to go through. I actually think this version of Miles is gonna be a good guy. Or at least sort of just like an anti-hero. And I actually think this Miles was not meant to be bitten by the spider. This is sort of a long shot, but I think if that Miles was bitten, he could have ended up dying or just not being a great Spider-Man without the guidance of having a Peter Parker. Spider-Punk was great. I see he's getting a ton of love, which he deserved. But what's interesting about him is that when we first see him, he kind of comes off as this cocky jerk who might steal Gwen from Miles, but when things actually got real, he was the one person to help Miles. I think that's a really cool trope. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's cool to see when a character may act a certain way at first, but then when things get real, they show their true colors, and it's the opposite. Because usually when this happens in movies, it's the reverse. Like the person will act like they care about the main character, but when things get serious, it turns out they're a fraud. So it was cool to see the reverse of that. I also love Spider-Punk's accent. Daniel Kaluuya did a great job. I loved my guy Pavitri too, man. I don't see as many people talking about it, but to me, he was super funny. He was like, I don't work out too much because I want to keep the physique I have. And the way he was trying to get Miles and Gwen to be together was hilarious.
Hey, you guy must be in love with you.
Okay, no, I'm not.
Oh, I'm very good at reading people.
My favorite part was when he thinks that they defeated the Spot, but then it just explodes.
Well, that was another easy adventure for Spider-Man.
That wraps up another easy adventure for Spider-Man. I was the only one to laugh in the theater, so maybe it's not even that funny, but I don't care. I loved it. Miguel O'Hara was super interesting in this film, aka Spider-Man 2099 from the future. I'm very familiar with this character from the comics. He is a bit different in some ways, and I will say I think they nailed how I imagine his demeanor and cold exterior, I guess. You likely won't agree with him, but you do understand why he's doing what he's doing, which is forcing Miles to let his dad die for the sake of the multiverse.
What am I supposed to do? Just let him die?
Speaking of Miles, let's talk about him.
Yeah. It's the return of the wild.
It was so great to see my boy again. Just seeing him be a confident hero doing his thing was great. One of my top 2 scenes is when Miguel tells Miles that he isn't supposed to be Spider-Man because the spider that bit him is from an alternate dimension. He straight up tells Miles that he's a mistake and doesn't belong there. And that felt like such a direct shot at how so many real fans reacted to Miles Morales being created in 2011. But even nowadays, there are some people who just won't accept him as Spider-Man and only see Peter Parker as Spider-Man. But what's so ironic about all these loyal Peter fans is that if Peter Parker was real, he wouldn't agree with them. He wouldn't like all these comments that have been made about Miles. All the racist and just mean things that people have said. I don't know, it's just ironic. And what I love about Miles is, despite what Miguel thinks, despite what the fans think, despite what anyone thinks, he's Spider-Man. And y'all gotta deal with it. I think what Miles went through in this movie is a very real thing that a lot of people go through when pursuing their goals and dreams. You might feel like you don't belong or you're not qualified to be with other people that are in that space. You could be a smaller person trying to play basketball, a woman going into a male-dominated industry, or a black person at Cracker Barrel. There will always be moments when we feel like we don't belong. So when those moments come, remember to be like Miles. People will try to tell you where you're supposed to fit and where they think you're supposed to go, but it's not their story. It's yours. So do your own thing. Just kidding, video's not over yet. Okay, I know I've been super inconsistent, and even though I've been wanting to post, I haven't been because I felt like I didn't have anything worth posting in comparison to bigger creators. But this movie helped me realize that just because I'm not the same as these other people doesn't mean I don't have anything to offer. My uniqueness is what I have to offer. Nobody can do it like me. and nobody can do it like you. So just remember that. Do it like you. Do your own thing. I already said that. I'll see you guys later. Peace.